1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Humayun Zebabasi. First, we'll look into the main headlines. Finance Minister says government took difficult decisions in the interest of the country and reduced expenditure and subsidy on power and gas to contain deficits. Addressing the post-budget news conference in Islamabad today, Mifta Ismail said the government has decided to withdraw duties and taxes on different agricultural implements, including seeds and agro-machinery. Prime Minister has approved new transit visa policy for the Afghan immigrants. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, all parties Hurriyat Conference has demanded impartial investigation into all massacres carried out by Indian troops in her held territory. At the United Nations, Pakistan has called for dialogue to foster peace in the Korean Peninsula. Russian Prime Minister has signed an order authorizing countries' withdrawal from World Tourism Organization. Now the news in further more detail. Finance Minister Mifta Ismail says the target of next year's budget is fiscal consolidation and provision of relief to the masses. Addressing the post-budget press conference in Islamabad today, along with Minister for Information and Broadcasting Maryam Aurangzeb, Minister of State for Finance Aisha Ghaus Pasha, he said that the budget of Benazir Income Support Program has been increased by 35 to 40%. The Finance Minister said that flour, sugar and ghee will be provided on concessionary rates at the utility stores throughout the year. He said the government took difficult decisions keeping in view the interests of the country and reduced expenditures as well as subsidy on power and gas to contain deficit. Finance Minister said we have imposed additional taxes on the well-off people while efforts have been made to reduce the tax on personal income tax. Alluding to the soaring price of palm oil in international market, the Finance Minister said the package of 20 billion rupees has been given to promote the cultivation of oilseeds. The Finance Minister said special emphasis is being given to bolster our export. Expressing the confidence that these will touch $35 million mark in the next fiscal year, Minister of State Dr. Aisha Ghaus Pasha explained that the decision announced in the budget 2022 to 2023 are aimed at stabilizing the economy. He said the government has also decided to bring 2.5 million shopkeepers into the tax net who would be charged the fixed tax ranging from 3,000 to 10,000 rupees, which would collected along with the utility bills. The Finance Minister said as the agriculture sector development is the top of the government's agenda, it has decided to withdraw duties and tax on different agriculture implements, including seeds and agro-machinery. He said the government has also proposed to withdraw sales tax on the agricultural imports and farm machinery, including tractors and other implements beside different seeds, including maize, canola and sunflower and rice are also exempted from the sales tax. On the other side, Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has approved a new transit visa policy for the Afghan immigrant citizens. Head of Prime Minister's Strategic Reform Initiative, Salman Sufi, in a statement today said taking a notice of the issues faced by the Afghan citizens, the Prime Minister has accorded approval to the new policy of on-arrival visa for Afghan refugees who need to pass through Pakistan to reach their destination countries that have approved their immigration. Pakistan will issue 30-day transit visa to the Afghan citizens within 24 hours. Salman Sufi said these countries that have granted immigration to the Afghan citizens could apply for transit visas from Pakistan. Under the government Hajj scheme, 19 residential buildings have been acquired for Pakistani pilgrims in Medina. Radio Pakistan special correspondent Ijaz Hussain reports from Medina that each building has capacity to accommodate 200 to 600 pilgrims. According to the spokesperson of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, all the buildings are located within 300 meters of the premises of Masjid Nabawi. Moving further, the first flight of Pakistan International Airlines with 240 passengers arrived at Jiangyan International Airport in China today after 6 months. All the passengers will undergo 14-day quarantine in Jian as per COVID-19 control and prevention measures imposed by the local government on the national passenger flights. As per the latest policy of COVID-19, all the passengers travelling from Islamabad to China are required to possess two PCR negative reports conducted within 48 hours from two different designated labs. They are also required to get COVID-19 IgM within 48 hours before boarding. PIA had suspended its flight operation between Pakistan and China in December last year after the closure of Yuan Airport following the COVID-19 pandemic prevention and control measures imposed by the Chinese authorities. Listeners, this is Radio Pakistan. Adding in the bulletin, Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, all parties were at conference has demanded an impartial investigation into all massacres carried out by Indian troops in the territory. The APHC made the demand on the occasion of completion of 31 years to Chota Bazar massacre. On this day, 1991, Indian paramilitary Central Reserve Police Force troops' brutal action had resulted in the killing of 32 innocent Kashmiris and injuring of 22 others. Meanwhile, shutdown was observed today in several districts of Jammu region against blasphemous remarks by Indian ruling Bharatiya Janata Party officials about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The occupation authorities continued to impose curfew in various areas on second consecutive day today to prevent Muslims from staging protests against blasphemous acts of BJP members. Internet in many areas of the Jammu region also remained suspended. On the other hand, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred one more youth in Kulgam district today. The troops martyred youth during a violent cordon and search operation in the Kandipura area of the district. In India, two Muslims youth were killed and several others severely injured after Indian police opened fire on protesters in Ranchi city, the capital of Jharkhand state. The incident took place when Indian police personnel opened fire on thousands of peaceful Muslims protesters who were protesting against sacrilegious comments on the Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Khatimun Nabiyyin sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam by the BJP leaders. Hindutva mobs also unleashed violence against the protesting Muslims. At the United Nations, Pakistan has called for dialogue and negotiations to foster peace in the tension-ridden Korean Peninsula. Acting permanent representative of Pakistan to the UN, Amir Khan, speaking at a debate in General Assembly, said, "We remain opposed to any destabilizing actions that give rise to tension on Peninsula." He said that Pakistan has consistently supported the endeavor to promote peace and stability in and around the Korean Peninsula through dialogue and negotiation, as envisaged in bilateral and multilateral agreements endorsed by the Security Council. Pakistan envoy said that such dialogue must be aimed at assuring equal security for all states in a denuclearized Korean Peninsula. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin has signed an order authorizing countries' withdrawal from World Tourism Organization. The United Nations Specialized Agency, in a statement, Russian Foreign Ministry said UN World Tourism Organization was monopolized by the European Union countries. He also criticized its activities and discrimination against Moscow. Syria has confirmed major damage, including to runways at Damascus International Airport after Israeli airstrikes. In a statement, a war monitor Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the missile strikes carried out before dawn, hitting one of the runways as well as 3 arms depots near the airport. The statement further said strikes also wounded and undermined number of people. Now some cricket news. The third and final one-day international between Pakistan and West Indies will be played in Multan tomorrow. The match will start at 4 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Pakistan have already won the series 2-0. And finally, the weather report. Mainly very hot and dry weather is expected in most plain areas of the country during the next 12 hours. Gusty winds are likely in central and southern Punjab and lower Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, while rain wind thunderstorm in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, Kashmir, Islamabad and Potwar region in upper Punjab in the afternoon. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, you can always log on to our website, radio.gov.pk. You can also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News